And start recording. Perfect. Thank you so much, Congressman, for taking the time to sit down to interview with us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm here in my district office. We are home in our districts for the month of August. We'll be returning to the Capitol shortly after Labor Day, but it's always great to be sleeping in my own bed at home where my family is and to be with my constituents here in the 15th Congressional District. So I'm in a good mood today.
That's great. I can definitely understand loving sleeping at home in my own bed. And so I would love to hear a little bit more about your involvement with the Congressional App Challenge and what motivated you to host the Congressional App Challenge in your district.
So my staff brought this idea to me, the Congressional App Challenge, and it seemed like such a natural, given the nature of my district. So I represent the 15th Congressional District in the San Francisco Bay Area. It is very much an epicenter of the innovation economy. We have more life science companies than any district in America. We have Meta, we have Google, YouTube. We have companies that are leading innovation economy companies right here in my district that I'm proud to represent. So it seemed like a natural that with the presence of tech and innovation right here in my own backyard, that we would have a cadre of young people interested in this arena and who'd be willing to step up and present their ideas through the Congressional App Challenge. So it seemed like very much a natural district-based thing for my office to be involved in. And I have to tell you, I have been blown away by the talent I've seen on display by these young people who participated for a number of years now.
Yeah, I've spent the last week actually in your district and speaking with students and also speaking with some of my friends that are all either in tech or interested in tech, and the talent and the passion for technology is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So, I would love to ask, if you were a student and had to put yourself in the student's shoes and had to code an app for the Congressional App Challenge, what kind of app would you choose to code?
Yeah, this is a tricky one. 'Cause I have lots of different interests. I think, given the nature of my district, not only as an epicenter of the innovation economy, we are very much on the front line of climate change. My district is on the bayfront, the San Francisco Bay. We are on the front line of sea level rise and climate change, and we've dealt with extreme weather. So I think, given my interest in climate change issues, I serve on something called the Energy and Commerce Committee in the House. I think I'd probably put together an app focused on climate change and extreme weather, and I would say emergency preparedness and readiness to deal with extreme weather events and everything that is to come with climate change. So it'd be some kind of a one-stop shop for those interested in climate issues, advanced weather forecast and extreme weather event forecasting, but also it would be a place where you can get information for services and programs dealing with climate. So I would have to flesh out that idea a little bit.
Right.
It'd have to actually be something people want to look at, not just some wonky, sort of policy focused thing, because that's how we in Congress like to think sometimes. Obviously, it's got to be user friendly. And frankly, I'd probably have to reach out to some young people to get their to get their advice on how to make this really readily usable. But it's a fun exercise to think about.
No, I think that's such a great idea and such a meaningful issue to tackle in your area. I think also the Congressional App Challenge allows students to work in teams. So you would be the idea person on your team, and then someone else would probably help you flesh it out a little bit. So I think it sounds like a winning team. We talked a little bit about some meaningful issues in your community. I would love to understand, if you were to use artificial intelligence to solve one frustrating part of your daily work, what would you have it tackle?
That's a great question. So the power of AI, it's coming, it's here, but it is going to be coming in waves that really affect the way government does business. Obviously, it's affecting business and the private sector, but we're beginning to see how it can affect the work of government agencies as well. In fact, I was just having a meeting, as a matter of fact, with a group that is employing AI potentially to save billions of dollars in the way Medicare operates. There's incredible potential with AI. What I would say just sort of kind of to personalize it, the use of artificial intelligence in the way that we serve our constituents. So I represent 762 plus thousand people in my district. I would love to be able to employ AI to gather information and data, sort of depersonalized, but in aggregate, how people are interacting with federal agencies, how they are utilizing the federal resources at their disposal in the 15th congressional district, which would help us, I think, tailor the way we do constituent services. We're here at my constituents' disposal when they're dealing with Veterans Affairs or Social Security or the IRS, the whole panoply of federal agencies. But sort of getting on the front end of that and really better understanding how the broader population deals with federal agencies and getting sort of real-time data. I think that would help us tailor our services, for example, and make sure that we're emphasizing the right kinds of constituent services where the need exists most prominently. So that would be, I think, an example. And I would not be surprised if we aren't employing something like that in the very near future.
Yeah, and that's extremely smart and very telling about, where you stand as a congressman because you're thinking about personalizing experiences for your constituents, and that's very kind and very nice and definitely really important. I think as, a constituent myself, I think it would be extremely cool to have something like that, and I look forward to seeing something like that in the future. And I'm curious, what advice do you have for any students that are interested in participating in the Congressional App Challenge but aren't sure if they have the right skills to compete? What would you want to tell those students?
I think I would just emphasize the fact that this app challenge is open to coders of all levels. I think there may be an impression that you have to have a fully fleshed out idea and a top of the line kind of concept that's actionable. We want to make this accessible as possible to as many students as possible, and just the networking opportunities that they will experience just working with other students. And I would just emphasize, we see it every day in this office. I'm in my district office here in San Mateo, that teamwork is paramount. We all work together as a team serving our constituents. And teamwork is really at the center of what this app challenge is about, and working with fellow students and working as a team, because that really does replicate sort of what students are going to face someday in the workplace, and learning how to work together in a constructive, positive way with fellow students. So it's, I think, an incredibly positive experience, and I hope it isn't a daunting, intimidating one. I think it's very much open and accessible, and we want to explore the talents that these young people have. And I know there are abundant in my home district.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful advice. I definitely learned teamwork and got received networking from the Congressional App Challenge. So, my last question for you is, what is especially exciting to you about the level of innovation and creativity amongst your youngest constituents?
I have to say, continually blown away when I see the talent. We do not only the Congressional App Challenge, we have an art contest. And I am, as somebody who's now 55, middle-aged person, I'm trying to picture what I was like as a young person. And I can't imagine doing some of the things that I see these young people doing in my district. And we've also put quite a bit of emphasis on engaging with young people and encouraging them to pre-register to vote, for example, at age 16 and 17. We've had this job has afforded me the opportunity to interact with lots of young people, and I am blown away at the maturity, the talent, the sort of openness, the creativity that is on display by these young people in my district. So I am proud of the work they're doing, and proud to sort of tout their work to my congressional colleagues out there. And I would encourage any Congress member who's not participating in these kinds of programs to do so. It's been incredibly rewarding for me and my team here in the office.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to interview and sharing your insights and perspective. Really appreciated hearing, and I'm sure everyone listening also appreciates it.
Excellent. Thank you, Maida. Wonderful to talk with you.
Wonderful to speak with you as well.